Welcome back to the channel. It's been a while. We haven't had time to make many videos this year, but I'm trying to find a little bit of time to finish this rock crawler, get it back together. We wrecked this thing so bad, we cracked the motor, broke the bell housing, made videos about that stuff along the way. We have fixed some bent tubes that we've got on there too. And I've been working on building a new axle. That's my latest project. And I've been pretty slow with this one, but I'm trying to get back on it. What I've got going right now is I've got to put the link mounts on there. So I've got these brackets that I'm working on. These are just Artec, I believe, brackets. And what we're doing is, even though this stuff all comes cut out and everything, they always take a little bit of modification. For example, the end of these tabs right there, I have to trim up to get them to fit tightly where I want to. Now, I bought this axle as spare parts because it came with wheel bearings and stuff, and spares for my rear steer rock crawler. That's why we got this. And when we bent the front axle on this, rolling it, I figured now would be a good time. Let's finish building out this axle. So what I've done is I also made a video about welding up the knuckles, all that sort of stuff. I started building a new ram mount, but this is the problem. I was going to use this big 3-inch ram right here. The old one used a 2.75-inch ram. So heading over here, this is a Chevy Dana 60. If you look here, this is one we made in the past. Kind of took some plate, made a triangle out of it, and then mounted the ram. This is a 2.5-inch ram. This is the axle that was on that buggy over there. However, the top is twisted down here, not where the ram mount is. From here on over there is twisted. So we need to redo that one, and then we're going to put it under this Jeep. It'll be a little bit more lighter duty use for that thing, but that's one style that we had done. And we move over here. It's on the rear steer buggy, and this is another style we did. Kind of same concept, just a little bit different. This one offers a little bit more coverage right here, and this is a big 3-inch ram. It's a bigger ram, and so sometimes packaging these can be kind of a pain. So when you look here, that's the one thing about these junkyard axles. The diff is always right where you wish it wasn't, because you have to access this cover. On an aftermarket housing, you can put that ram anywhere you want, and then you pull the diff out from the back and not have to get to everything from the front. So it gives you more room to mount a ram. So that's the thing, is because you can't really center this. You can only center it so much. So you can see how long this arm is and then how short this arm is. One issue that causes is it means your steering doesn't move in perfect unison. When you steer, one tire is steering at a different range than the other tire. Now in the back, I was able to get it more in the center, and that's worked out much better. So the thing is, on the front, you're always dealing with an offset pumpkin that's always right in your way. So what I might try to do is kind of combine those two ideas together to build a ram mount. With how tight it is in there, this is the space that I've got to fit this axle between. This ram mount that I built, I copied off my rear steer rock crawler. It's just mocked up, it's not fully built. It's too big. This sticks out too far. So what I'm going to do is try to modify this, take this front plate off, and put the shorter ram mount up a little bit taller. You can see this is a 3-inch clamp, and the 2.75 is a bit shorter. So if I replace these with the 2.75, it's going to give me a little bit more room, and that's all you need in this. Because right now, it's so tight in there, the way this is built, I would only have a very little bit of free space. So what I'm going to do is try to use that other mount that's a little bit smaller. What that's going to allow me to do, hopefully have the extra room I need in there. What we're going to do is get that front axle in there and get everything mounted up. I've got everything else pretty much done on this axle. I've got my knuckles welded up. I've got my ball joint eliminators on there, and new ball joints. I even got the ring and pinion and carrier and all that in there, and so that the gearing's all done too. So these are the link mounts, the upper link mounts that I bought. Now you can see that truss is super low right there. It's a very low truss. And this axle has a pretty low truss too, but the amount of link mount options aren't great on the market. I don't like, one, that they come with these smaller holes. I like to run the big heim joints with 3/4 inch bolts. It's overkill, I know, but it's basically what I've always ran. So you got the link mount here is too tall. So what I'm gonna have to do is I drilled out the top holes for the 3/4, but I've got to cut another 1.5 inches off of here to get it low enough to match what my other axle was. Another issue I have is the link mount. To get the same separation, what I always do is find the center of the axle. So I find the center of the axle, and then I measure the distance to each mount. The problem is, to get the right one I need, it's going to be out like this. I mean like that. Yeah, we'll go like that. And what I'm going to have to do, I've cut these pieces of flat plate. We're just going to weld it on there like that, weld that up. And we're going to extend the surface out so we can mount those links on there. So I got to cut the link mounts down, add that surface, and make it all fit. That's the thing. A lot of times, like the stuff that you buy, this Artec, all these different brands, they get you pretty close in the ballpark, you know, but depending on your application, there's always going to be some modifications that you have to do. That's just the way this stuff goes. So yeah, that's what we're going to be working on. Making those plates, getting the rest of these arms mounted up. All right, so right here, what I did was I used a straight edge, made my lines. I'm going to cut that off like that so that this one's a little bit shorter. The same with the other one, I'm going to cut that shorter. Then I've got to finish mocking up my little flat plate extender. So I'm going to cut these guys short. We already drilled the holes out. Now, another idea I had, what I could have done was cut this top off and just drill this out. Honestly, I hate drilling these holes. I need a better drill press, something I'll get in the future. But what I'm going to do, I thought it just easiest to cut this line and make both of these 1.5 inches shorter rather than just cutting that out. So that's what we're going to do. All right, so when doing this sort of work, I like to use 2 different grinders. Basically, I've got my DeWalt big cutoff wheel, and then I use just this little Ryobi, just a 4-inch. That's a 6-inch, and or it's got a 5-inch disc on there. Anyway, then I got this 4-inch one that I like to swap back and forth with flap disc and just grinder wheels for, like, you know, then you can kind of smooth everything out. Quick and easy. I can do little cuts with this. I will, you know, just throw in a little cutting disc right there. And it's versatile. So I'll admit, I love cutoff wheels. Obviously, there's a lot of different ways to cut. There's a lot of different ways to cut steel, but man, I love cutoff wheels. They're quick, they're easy. They're not as messy as the plasma cutter and stuff like that. But anyway, everybody's got their different opinions. But this one's a little shorter because it's the one that goes up here. See how tight that all has to stay. Got my angle finder. It's gonna go something like this. That's why I have to extend this out. Like I said, this stuff always gets you in the ballpark, but it's not exact. Now we gotta cut this other one. These guys will now go something like this. I gotta mark them out exactly, but we also have to finish this guy. So I gotta bevel all this out, then we'll get out the welder and weld those plates. All right, so this is my plan for this. We'll see how this works. I've got this level. I was just going to use a straight edge like this to line it up, tack it, get it in there, and that's what we will do. The level just as a straight edge rather than as a level. and just to make sure that's going to be a decent surface to mount those link mounts on. A couple quick tacks with that, and I was going to do something like this, I think. You know, just and then I'll fill those little holes in. Kind of want a little angle to it. All right. So these I'll fill in with some plate. I'll cut some thinner plate out of cardboard, just put them there. Yeah, we'll weld all that in. So the purpose of that is so we can get our spacing correct for right here. For that upper link mount. I don't know, hopefully that looks okay. Oh well, if it doesn't, I'm just gonna run with it. Just gonna put a real little angle on there. I need to get my marker. So it's 8.5 inches. So we're gonna set this right there at the edge just as a reference. And so it'd be 4 1/4 from the edge of that. So basically I made this a little bit bigger than I needed to, but from edge to edge. So 4 1/4, 8.5 from here to here. I'm just going to put the slightest bit of angle on those, both of those. I'm going to tack them and then just double check everything. I think before I fully weld it, I'm going to tack everything really good and then maybe mock it all, make sure it all is correct before I fully weld it. I might do something different here. I don't know. That's, for now, that'll work for mocking it up. I took off all the stuff that I had for the ram mount there. And I don't know, I can't decide this plate if I want to make it vertical or maybe I should make it come from there to there. Maybe that blend a little better. I think right about there. I just got to find the center of the ram. I'm going to move it over as close as I can get away with to the driver's side there. But that one is so much smaller than the other ram with the mounts. And the big question is, will it clear the diff cover? The diff cover I'm going to orders on my other rock crawler, so I'm going to go double check that one. But yeah, and what you want, room we got there. But you can see here how those angle out. You don't want these to be straight across there. They should angle out so that when the arm turns, when this pushes out and the arm turns, that's when it should get straighter. First thing I want to do is get all these link tabs on there and get the suspension under there and check everything first. I want to check it all to make sure it all clears and make sure before I spend any more time moving forward with the link mount or ram mount, I want to be sure that it's even going to fit because it's tight in there. And so it's all got to be just right. So we still have to build upper links too. So other thing I got to do, got to finish putting these arms on, these control arms, those link mounts, and then test fitting all this. I'll probably have to notch that cast out because that's going to suck for putting a bolt in right there. That's the kind of stuff that always seems to sneak up on you. And I could take a grinder right there. I could just cut it right there. I should have done, oh! Hindsight, I should have done that before tacking that in place. Oh well, we'll figure it out. Had to do that on my other axle too, and just completely forgot about that.
Stay tuned to find out how we end up finishing this axle.